Team Fortress 2 is a game for the personal computer and not at all envisioned to be played with a controller. Unless you're using some sort of crazy config, of course. In 2007, along with the rest of the Orange Box, TF2 released on PS3 and Xbox 360, with the differences between the two versions being few but significant enough to say that the PlayStation 3 version is the worst version of the game to play. No achievements, missing melee animations, and no updates after March 20th, 2008. Unlike the far superior Xbox 360 version that boasts 17 achievements, full melee animations, proper development support until 2009, as well as the ability to host peer-to-peer servers and customize much of the diverse match settings. The reason the PlayStation 3 version is the worst might be that they left support of the game into the hands of EA. In all seriousness, both versions of the game are bad, however the Xbox 360 version is still playable, which makes it a fun time capsule of an era long gone. However, I wouldn't recommend it compared to some source mods, which try to emulate that authentic feeling. The only content you can find in these versions are 6 maps, those being the original launch 6, Hydro, Dust Bowl, 2-Fort, Granary, Well, and Gravel Pit, as well as no cosmetics and no weapon unlocks. Of course, all of these maps are on their day 1 release versions. However, they aren't the only thing untouched since launch. Some of the features you can expect are lack of air blast and the inability to move your buildings, not being able to upgrade dispensers and teleporters, as well as the grenade launcher carrying 6 pipes. Packed in with rubber banding, extremely bad netcode, and no presence of aim assist, this made playing a very mechanically precise game such as Team Fortress 2 very unique on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The only updates the game got were mainly on the Xbox 360 version. They were mainly bug fixes and apparently the ability to disable random crits, damage spread, as well as setting class limits on private hosted matches. These are options not yet found in the contemporary version of casual Team Fortress 2. The PlayStation 3 version, however, is almost absolutely untouched since release. It received a single update ever, fixing very minor things. This would make the PlayStation 3 version of the game the most authentic version of Team Fortress 2 available, if it wasn't shut down by EA earlier this year. It's no surprise that Valve didn't support these versions. Next to Gaben's hate for the PlayStation 3 and the company spearheading a new thing called Steam, it wouldn't make any sense to support your most popular and pretty much flagship multiplayer title on a platform that competes with your own. The same story goes for Counter-Strike Global Offensive on the Xbox, which suffered a similar fate. These versions of the game are certainly more known by the presence of exploits, such as needle boosting, where if a player is above a medic and they fire their syringe gun upward as the player jumps, they get propelled into the air. Not to mention mods and hacks present, mostly in the Xbox version. A quirk that made modding more interesting is that the Orange Box for consoles had a single launcher, meaning that all of the Half-Life 2 assets were available within Team Fortress 2, and vice versa. My friend Ratlubber has done a video specifically talking about them. I think a lot of people can take pride in the fact that the PS3 version of Team Fortress 2 did outlive a lot of TF2's competitors. As someone who is a spoiled PC player, who has never had to experience the game on consoles, I asked Whomobile to talk about their experience, as someone who actually has a lengthy history with this version of the game.
So, the Orange Box on the PS3. Well, the story is pretty well known at this point. Gabe didn't like the PS3's wacky cell architecture, passed the buck on to EA of all people, and the PS3 port is by far the worst of the 3. I myself purchased the Orange Box after watching a review on a TV show we have in Australia called Good Game. This is government funded, by the way. The 2 reviewers dedicated almost an entire episode to the box, and me, an idiot child who used to get Half-Life and Second Life mixed up, decided to go buy it. I remember the guy at the counter said it was a good choice too. The single-player games themselves worked fine from memory. The only bad thing, aside from using a controller to play FPS games, was the horrific loading times between levels. TF2, however, was another bucket of crabs entirely. Joining a game resulted in the worst rubber banding I have ever encountered in a video game. Imagine walking forward 1 step and teleporting back and forth for about half a minute rapidly before you got to where you actually wanted to go. This happened at the start of almost every game I joined, sometimes going for as long as 5 minutes. The game only ever got one update that changed nothing. everything still sucked afterwards. Since the game never got updated, there were exploits galore. Needle boosting, where a medic could boost the friendly player with the needle gun projectiles, was a common sight during friendly games, normally to get to the 2-fort cow. There was never an air blast, movable buildings, or any new weapons. Don't even think about hats. One weird point is the grenade launcher actually had 6 grenades. I remember at some point GameSpot tried to run a tournament on each version of TF2, but they had to cancel the PS3 version due to the lack of any ability to play with friends only, or even to play with people on your friends list. Regardless, I still had a lot of fun playing this version of the game. I remember I worked out how to use the iToy camera as a microphone. I would annoy the crap out of other players by playing music from an MP3 player I had during games. Yeah, I invented a way to mic spam. My family had a metered internet connection that had bonus time before 8 AM, so I'd often wake up at 6 AM and play till 8 before going on with the rest of my day. I kept tabs on the updates to the PC version, very jealous of all the features I was missing out on, like payload and new guns. About a year and a half afterwards, I finally got my own PC, and one of the first games I got was Team Fortress 2. Only a few weeks before the Scout update. Anyway, that's my PS3 TF2 experience.